TK Princeton.
Vaught's Views on University of Kentucky Sports is on the air. Featuring 7-time Kentucky Sports Writer of the Year, Larry Vaught.
There are a lot of good stories associated with Kentucky football team this year, but I have to admit that one of my favorites is running back Cavassier Smoke. Maybe it's because I was convinced he probably would transfer after his limited role last year as Chris Rodriguez's backup, or when he didn't transfer, how his name was barely mentioned in spring practice or even preseason practice. However, when Kentucky opened the season last week against Miami-Ville High, there was Smoke as UK's starting running back. Sure, Rodriguez was suspended, but Kentucky had at least 4 other running backs who were ahead of Smoke on the depth chart in August. That had to be difficult for the fifth-year senior who averaged over 5 yards per carry last season, but he didn't give up, pout, or cause trouble. Instead, he listened to what his coaches told him to do, continued to work, and slowly but surely gained the trust of offensive coordinator Rich Scangalero.
Vaught's Views will return in a moment.
Okay, here's your final question.
It's so exciting.
All right, let's go.
Ready?
Name something Hopkinsville is famous for.
Wheat.
That's correct.
That's correct.
In fact, Christian County is the leading wheat-producing county in the state of Kentucky.
Incredible.
With amazing farmers tending over 46,000 acres of farmland, harvesting over 3 million bushels per year.
Batter capital of the world.
From field to fork. Schedule your tour.
It's a real treat.
Visit battercapital.com.
Part of Team Kentucky.
I have no idea how much Cavassier Smoke will play the rest of the season or what kind of statistics the running back will have. However, I know he has set an example about resiliency that younger teammates hopefully have paid attention to and will remember in the future. If he had walked away from UK, no one would have blamed him. Instead, he chose to return to UK knowing Chris Rodriguez was also back. Smoke believed in himself, put in the work, and it's nice to see that effort pay off for him.
Find more from Larry at yoursportsedge.com.
Time to take a look at community news on 1580 103.3 WPKY. This morning's community news is brought to you by Audubell Hearing Center in the Princeton Plaza.
Well, it is time for Black Patch 2022. If you've got anything you need added to the list, it's free to do so. 270-963-9038. Please text that information to us. Here's the events. It is a whole schedule full of things to do this weekend for Black Patch. Of course, the Caldwell Medical Center 5K with Dr. Littlejohn's office. Of course, Morgan's Funeral Home sponsoring that. That's going to start at 7 a.m. sharp. So make sure that you get there early and get registered. The Kiwanis Club Pancake Breakfast at Ogden Methodist Church basement. That'll be from 7 a.m. until 10 a.m. downtown Princeton. Of course, Butler-Caldwell County School Reunion will be at 8:30 on Saturday. That's going to last until noon on the Butler campus. 9 a.m. to noon, a book sale. Put it all in a bag for $5. That's the Friends of George Coon Public Library book sale. That is their annual fundraiser that will help and fund things at George Coon Library. 10 a.m. dog show at Big Springs Park. Of course, your entries, 9 a.m. show will start at 10. 10 a.m. until 5, Art on Main, right there on Main Street in the Guild area. 10 to 2 will be the FFA pedal tractor pull, City Hall parking lot, and then from 10 to 3, a petting zoo at the City Hall grounds beside City Hall. At 3:15, we'll turn our attention to the petting zoo rabbit sale at the City Hall grounds. At 4 o'clock, it's a VFW Auxiliaries Cakewalk right there on the East Court Square. 4 to 7, Black Patch Cruise In on the east end of Main Street. Of course, 6 p.m. is the Black Patch Gospel Singing, Princeton First Baptist Church in downtown Princeton. 6 p.m. will also start the country music show right there in front of Ziabros, and it will feature Caleb Coots. And then at 7 p.m., Caldwell County Soccer Alumni Game, Butler Soccer Field. Of course, if you need questions answered, all you have to do is contact any of those red shirts on Saturday. That's the Princeton Optimist Club members, or you can go to their Facebook and message them. That way you can also find all this information and more at our website, WPKYonline.com. Don't forget to submit your information, including a community yard sale. I forgot about that. That's going to start at 6 a.m. on the Butler lawn. If you'd like to be a part of that, they do remind you, yard sale items only. No commercial goods or fireworks are going to be accepted that day. You just got to make sure that you show up and sell yard sale items and then clean up after yourself when you leave. You can text information to us, 270-963-9038, or visit us online, WPKYonline.com.
I got mine at Audubell.
I got mine at Audubell.
I got mine at Audubell.
I got my hearing aids at Audubell.
As a psychiatrist, I have to listen to my patients very well. And Audubell gave me my ears back.
And they've really changed my life.
I've been wearing hearing aids for 50 years, and Audubell is by far the best hearing aid.
I'm Donnie Baker, helping you hear well at Audubell.
Call Audubell for your free hearing test, 554-1900.
If you're involved in an auto accident, it's your choice where your vehicle is repaired. Some insurance companies refer you to pro shops because they give the insurance company discounts. But with those discounts, the insurance company has input on the parts used and might not always use what is best. At Trice Hughes Body Shop, they're not partnered with an insurance company, but they give the same lifetime limited warranty to the person who owns the vehicle at the time of repairs. Visit Trice Hughes in Princeton for your vehicle repairs.
At YourSportsEdge.com, we strive every day to continue to bring you the gold standard in high school sports coverage with more on your teams and your players.
Or did it show up there?
And while they are not gold, those Crystal Awards we have won for doing what we love to do are pretty cool too.
That's something you see every day.
The Kentucky Broadcaster's Best Digital Product Award winner.
I love the people. Ball game over.
YourSportsEdge.com.
What are we going to do? Doctor, will he be okay?
Unexpected happens. Goodwin Insurance Agency has you covered with auto, home, life, commercial, boat, and RV insurance. That way, when the unexpected happens...
Congratulations! It's a girl!
You're covered.
Goodwin Insurance of Princeton, Cadiz, or Marion, or online at insurewithgoodwin.com.
Are you struggling to afford health care or medications? Let Health First help you. Whether you are insured, uninsured, or underinsured, you will still be cared for at Health First Community Health Center. We offer financial and prescription assistance to all those that qualify, which is based on income and household size. Contact our office at 1-877-667-7017 for more information, or visit our website, healthfirstchc.net. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are welcome. At Health First, your health is our first concern.
If you really enjoy the stories you hear on Traveling the Bluegrass, we'd like to invite you to listen to the whole visit uncut. Just type youragadge.com into your browser. You'll find Traveling the Bluegrass uncut stories in long form, so you don't miss a thing. You'll also find lots of ag news and farm pictures from across the Commonwealth. You can also find all the Kentucky communities that Traveling the Bluegrass can be found. Remember to visit youragadge.com.
It's time to take your singing voice out of the shower and into the spotlight. The second annual Hoptown Idol Contest is back. Friday, September 16th at Sounds at 6 in downtown Hopkinsville. Hopkinsville Electric System, Energy Net, and your friends at WKDZ are sponsoring your chance to win $500 and a 2-hour recording session with Arc Exhibit Studios and Hip Hop Town USA. Grab your phone, crank up the camera, and sing away. Go to WKDZradio.com and upload your audition at the contest tab for a chance to go straight to the finals, or sign up that night for a first-come live mic audition spot. 20 total soloists from online and live mic will sing off to become the next Hoptown Idol and win $500 and a 2-hour recording session. All the Hoptown Idol fun is part of Parks and Rec Sounds at 6 on September 16th, which means there's also food trucks, sweets, and plenty of beverages. Plan now to cheer on your favorite or grab the mic yourself. See you at Sounds at 6 on September 16th when we crown the next Hoptown Idol.
Enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner at Big John's Barbecue. Be sure to like and follow them on Facebook.
For the Weather Edge Weather Center, sunshine today with a high 82 degrees. Mostly clear skies tonight, low down to 58. More sunshine on Friday. Slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm late in the day with a high near 85 degrees. Chance of showers, thunderstorms in the forecast for Saturday with a high 78. Let's get our forecast today. Mostly sunny skies with a high near 82.
Hey, besties. It's your girl, Jo, from Jo & Co. Boutique in Eddyville. And we are proud to support the Pledge of Allegiance on WPKY.
Shopping can be overwhelming. At Jo & Co. Boutique, it's their priority to get to know you. Enjoy a personal, stress-free shopping experience, making you feel valued as a customer and person. Jo & Co. is a size-inclusive boutique carrying clothing and gift favorites such as Judy Blue, Vintage Havana, Savannah Jane, and Kendra Scott. Located on Fairview Avenue in Eddyville, or shop joandcoboutique.com.
Hey, besties. It's your girl, Jo. Can't wait to see you at the boutique.
It's time for your SportsEdge.com Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. Talking sports and more here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY and worldwide at WPKYonline.com. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
Good morning, everyone. The Sideline Report is on the air from 1035 West Main Street in Princeton. This is Todd Griffin of WPKY Radio and your SportsEdge.com. Thanks a lot for joining us this week. We are right in the middle of Caldwell and Crittenden County Week in the sports world, and who better to have in the studio during Caldwell-Crittenden Week than Chris Evans of the Crittenden Press. Chris, good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, good morning, Todd. Always love that beautiful drive from Fredonia over to Princeton for this. Seems like it's becoming an annual affair, and I enjoy doing it. Thank you for having me over.
How were things in Fredonia this morning?
You know, they were a little bit foggy early, but it cleared up a little bit. So it's harvest time over that way. Yeah. You know, well, a great deal of activity beginning. A lot of hay cutting and some corn, I think, getting ready to be shelled for too long.
Well, I'm not sure how the schedules worked out this way this week, but you know, we had Caldwell-Crittenden soccer the other night, right. Volleyball playing tonight, and then we got the big football game tomorrow night.
Did they plan that? I wonder.
I'm not sure. It just kind of worked out.
I like that. We should promote this every year, the Caldwell-Crittenden week. And, you know, I'll tell you that soccer, I know it was a tie, and you don't ever like to tie, but that was a watershed moment maybe for our soccer program. Yeah. Our coach, Jessica DeBurgo, she's been there. I think this is her second or third year, and she's turning things around, and they've got a pretty good team. And to tie Caldwell County, a team that I think had owned them, much like volleyball and much like football.
The series was 29-0 before the tie. So
yeah.
So that's and Caldwell had beaten them 7-0 earlier this season. So
in the All-8 final, and they thought they had a pretty decent chance going into that. She thought she had some opportunities, but then that didn't pan out. But bounced back, and good job by the soccer team, because our soccer team has gone through some pretty tough times. Yeah.
Well, and volleyball coming up tonight, that should be an interesting match. And you've got a former Caldwell County Lady Tiger who is the head coach at Crittenden County.
Right, Bailey McDonald, and she lives for this game. Of course, you know, it means a lot to her, and I think Caldwell's won 26
in a row, I think.
26 in a row matches. And she really wants to get this one. We did a little post game interview with her the other night on Tuesday night, and one of the first things she mentioned is we have Caldwell Thursday night, and it's a big game, and she would like to get that first one under her belt against her alma mater.
Yeah, they get fired up for it, and I think the two teams met last year in the regional tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, Crittenden, their volleyball program is always been pretty decent, even since the inception of it. I forget how many years. It's probably getting close to 20 years now that they've had volleyball. I think Jared Myers was the first coach, and he was successful. Then the ag teacher became the volleyball coach, and he was pretty successful, Larry Duval. And you know, Bailey's just done a great job. She has a lot of passion for the game. The kids, they play hard for her, and she's been successful. And looking forward to tonight's game, which is over in Marion.
Yeah. That's the kid that played for Sue Stone, and then actually coached with Daniel Courtner here a little bit before she got the head coaching job at Crittenden. So she's seen a lot of Caldwell County volleyball, and I think she's probably taken some of that with her to Crittenden County.
Oh yeah. She makes no bones about it that she's where she cut her teeth over here and learned the game, and went on and played a little college. I forget where, you may remember, but somewhere. Played a little college volleyball, but then just got into coaching. And of course, I'll tell you, Bailey is very instrumental in a lot of things that go on in Fredonia as well. You know, Fredonia is a hopping little community, really. They have a lot of festivals and things over there at the VFW Park, and she's right in the middle of all that. Does a lot of promoting of it too. Yeah.
Well, we got volleyball tonight, and then football tomorrow night, and I was really surprised. Maybe I shouldn't have been by the crowd last week against Hopkinsville out at Tiger Stadium because you had a Caldwell County team that was 0-2 and struggling offensively a little bit, and a Hopkinsville team that is typically pretty good, but 0-2 this season.
Right.
But had a really nice crowd, and I think the place will be packed tomorrow night for Caldwell and Crittenden.
You know, Caldwell and Crittenden are much alike in the fact that it doesn't matter what the record is. The community comes out to support these boys. They always have. Both communities have a strong football tradition. We were talking about it. We recorded our football coaches show yesterday. It'll actually post midday today. But we did it last night, and we were talking about how when we play at Caldwell County, the track, they let the fans, the visiting fans, come down on the track. Now I know this year you've got some construction.
I'm not sure that will happen this year.
Yeah, they said it wasn't going to happen. That's what brought us into the conversation. But that just I hate to even share this because you might quit doing it over here. But the coaches and the kids, they all have always said. It feels kind of like a home game because the fans are right there. Your fans are right there behind you, on top of you, and a lot of these schools that have a track around them do not get that. And even the visitor side at Caldwell County, the fans are up there in the big concrete bleachers, and you don't get the kids. You know, they feed off that.
Yeah.
And so they were lamenting the fact that we weren't going to have our fans on the track this time.
Yeah, brand new surface going down on the track. It's starting to look really nice light blue surface, and my understanding is the lines are going to be gold and white, so it's going to look all Caldwell County, and I think it will really make the stadium pop once it gets finished. So, and I always like to think that Caldwell County has one of the most attractive high school football stadiums around.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that will certainly add to it, and that's not inexpensive to put that surface down. I don't know. I hadn't heard what the cost is over here, but
I'm not sure. But I hate to even guess.
It's incredibly expensive. I know because Crittenden's track is out at the park, and I'm the chairman of the park board, and they're always needing to maintain. Just maintaining what you have is difficult, and our surface is just the asphalt surface, and it's very expensive just to keep it up. But yeah, Caldwell County, in a way, reminds me of Mayfield. It's one of those old, almost Gothic-looking concrete stadiums. But you have the track, and then the Tiger up there is great. It's lit up on the school. I remember the first time I saw that when the school was built back in the early 90s, late 80s sometime.
The school has been up there a little bit longer because the stadium has been there since the mid-'70s. The stadium was built in the mid-'70s.
Tiger was somewhat new, and
the I don't know how long the cab would have been put up in late '80s. So I'm not sure when the Tiger got on the side of it. It was shortly after. Yeah.
Been around a long time, Todd. You and I both have.
Well, that was something I was going to get into a little bit later about how long we've covered sports and how things have changed. But I want to get your thoughts first on the Crittenden County football team because it looks like Crittenden County and Caldwell County have both been in the same boat a little bit this year. Of course, when you're a smaller school, you're typically not really deep anyway, and I think both teams have had some injuries. And again, if you're a smaller school, those injuries are tougher to overcome because you just don't have the numbers of a larger school.
Absolutely. I know you guys, and we actually talked about it on our show last night that we recorded. Injuries have been, in a season, when you go into the season, and the first thing you say in preseason is, gosh, we can't get anybody injured.
Yeah. It's probably best just to never say that.
Yeah, boy, you set yourself up for an attack of Murphy's Law. But, yes, we were thin up front, and all of a sudden now we're down to our third-team center. One of our tackles is out. I don't know how long, maybe for the year. He's got a pretty serious knee injury. But our first-team center, he blew his second ACL in 2 years last week, and the tackle that's out was the backup center. So now we've gone to Brand Sassy, who is a third-team center, and he did a great job the other night. You just have to applaud these kids who, and we were talking about it. I was with Coach Gage Courtney last night. These kids who are third, fourth, maybe on the depth chart. better pay attention at practice, because your number's going to get called, and you better be ready. You better know the plays, know your steps and things. And, fortunately, we've been able to at least find people to put in, and they've done a pretty good job so far. Yeah. But you're right. Small schools, if you're at Graves County or Tillman or any of these other big schools, Marshall County even, you just have another body. You have another upperclassman generally.
Yeah.
We don't. No.
Well, Caldwell's kind of in the same boat. They just have to, replace some players the best they can. But, they went into the season having about 9 kids going both ways, which is a little unusual with the way Caldwell has played the last decade or so. But when you have those kids go out, it really leaves you thin, and there's just no way to make up the numbers game, especially – I know Caldwell started the year with Christian County, then played Madisonville and Hopkinsville, and I noticed that Crittenden County has kind of bumped up its early season schedule. Right. The Rockets played Murray and Madisonville, so I think those games can only help you. They don't help your record early in the season sometimes, but I think they help your overall progress.
We talked about that before before the season began, and how the schedule has gotten more difficult this time. And just looking at it, you always speculate on wins and losses, and you're looking at your district and how you may fare in that. And we said, we could very likely win the district championship and not have more than 3 or 4 victories in the season. The district is going to be interesting this time because Fulton County is pretty good. I think Russellville is suffering the consequences of graduating 2 senior classes at once. They had some of those 5th-year seniors, and they're struggling a bit. I don't know if they've scored a point.
Oh, wow. Fulton County beat Callaway County. Was it
last
week?
Last week, Friday night. We played Callaway County in a scrimmage. It's not one of the better teams I've ever seen, Callaway County, which traditionally is not just a great football school anyway.
But they're like a 4A or 5A school, right?
That's right. But Fulton County has a lot of upperclassmen that have been around a while, and they're going to be a challenge for a lot of the smaller teams like us. They're going to be a tough out for us. And Crittenden, of course, finished second in the district last year, and that's kind of been a burr under their saddle. They've got the second place trophy. They've been carrying it around everywhere. When they go on the road, they put it on the bus. They take it out to practice and set it on the side of the field. They want a reminder of what it felt like after winning 4 straight to lose one.
Sometimes I wonder about the runner-up trophies that we pass out. Does anybody really want the second place trophy? I mean, I guess it makes your trophy case look fuller or something. But
most people don't have room in their trophy cases for them anymore. After really, that's right. They get stuck in a closet somewhere.
We're talking with Chris Evans of the Crittenden Press this morning. Caldwell County football hosting Crittenden County Friday night out at Tiger Stadium. We need to get a timeout here on the Sideline Report, but we'll be back with more after this here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Need cash fast? Contact ABC Finance now.
Are you concerned about your current financial situation?
At ABC Finance, we can help.
Hi, this is Savannah Seymour at the Princeton ABC Finance location.
And this is Todd Morris at the Hopkinsville location.
At ABC Finance, we don't just provide loans, but we also provide valuable advice to help you get your credit in better standing.
Our friendly team of professionals has your best interest in mind, and we celebrate with you whenever your finances improve.
We encourage you to like our Facebook page, ABC Finance. Many of those useful tips are posted daily on our page, including tons of community info and motivation for the day.
Who couldn't use that? You can also visit us at abcfinanceonline.com, where you can even apply for loans online.
Or just give us a call and we can take your application over the phone. Or stop by. No appointment is needed and walk-ins are welcome.
All loans subject to normal credit approval.
Looking for a job or a career change? Attend the Step Into a Job hiring event on September 15th between 10 and 3 at the Bruce in Hopkinsville.
This will be a fabulous opportunity to get general career advice and information, talk to area-wide employers, and find job opportunities.
Take advantage of on-site resume assistance and get resume copies for free.
There will also be access to computers available for online applications too.
Dress to impress, as interviews will be offered on the day.
Learn more at wkworkforce.org.
Wayne's Place has expanded the store area, and they just got in a bunch of merchandise. The building is full of furniture, lots of one-of-a-kind home decor and accent pieces. And the best thing is, they're open every Monday through Friday from 10 to 4 or by appointment. Quality used furniture at great prices. You don't have to wait for an auction. Whether it's one piece or a room full of furniture, they have hundreds to choose from. That's the Auction Center at 2216 Highway 62 West in Princeton.
Do you want to get into the best shape of your life? Okay, let's be honest. Do you just want to get into some kind of shape? Then now's the time to get to Trilogy Performance Sports and take advantage of their $100 monthly family plan. This offer allows every member of the family living in the house to use the facilities at Trilogy as well as join the classes. What a deal! Don't wait. Get in shape. This offer is only for the month of September, so start exercising now and run to Trilogy Performance Sports to sign up. For more information, go to trilogyperformancesports.com.
Welcome back to the Sideline Report here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Talking this morning with Chris Evans of the Crittenden Press. And, of course, the Crittenden County Rockets will be at Tiger Stadium this Friday night for football action, 7 o'clock, and you can hear it here on WPKY. Want to take just a second to recognize our C3 Electric Power Line Player of the Week. The offensive lineman last week is Caden Alfred. That's our lineman of the week from the Hopkinsville game. Brought to you by C3 Electric, selling and servicing Generac generators, new construction, remodels, and more. With over 25 years experience, you can trust C3 Electric for quality service and installation. And we appreciate C3 Electric for helping us recognize the linemen. Chris, sometimes those offensive and defensive linemen kind of get overlooked, and it's always glad to get to throw them out there a little bit. And Caden Alfred, our lineman of the week for the Hopkinsville game. Absolutely. You got to give those OL guys some love. They never get anything. They don't show up in the D stats. They never show up in the offensive stats, really, unless your team grades them out and somehow, makes that public. But, and we always try to give them love. We had a couple of linemen on our show this week. Yeah. And, it's nice to get them in there because, gosh, they're so important to the game, Absolutely. We've got to show them some love sometime. Well, we talked about that on Saturday Morning Quarterback from the Biscuit Barn across the street last Saturday. We were talking about Eli Stevens, who had a good block down the field, one of the receivers, and Caldwell's offense are always talking about the receivers blocking downfield is the key to big runs sometimes, and that's what happened last week. And I said, that's a non-stat play. Nowhere in the stat sheet does it say Eli Stevens had a great block down the field, but it was worth about 30 yards on a run. So so it takes guys like you and I who call attention to that, and that's why we make a living in the sports. Or, of course, I have a broader sense of making a living now. But at one time it was all sports. But you kind of started as a sports guy, right? Yes, actually started in 1979 down in Paris, Tennessee at the newspaper there, and then worked for the Murray Ledger and Times when I was in college, and then ended up Paducah Sun for a while. That's kind of where I really broadened my understanding of West Kentucky sports, and then, of course, then I came to Crittenden County as the editor of the newspaper. And we've tried to maintain a good sports coverage throughout the years, and not many weekly papers left really. And I think a lot of that falls back on the fact they don't embrace technology and the things you can do and generate a little revenue sometime on the internet. Union County Advocate shut down about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so they don't have a newspaper over there now, other than Sturgis News. It still exists. Well, I think newspapers maybe dropped the ball a little bit when the internet rolled around, and I guess there are lots of different ways to look at it from a business standpoint, but I'm not sure I ever completely agreed with taking your product and putting it on the internet, but then putting it behind a paywall where people couldn't see it. I'm like, isn't the whole idea to get all your product out there for people to see? Because if they're not going to come to you to get it, they're going to go to somebody else to get it. So I to this day, I think newspapers still don't know exactly what to do with the internet, although you guys have kind of embraced that with a lot of different video things.
Yeah, you're right. We've struggled with it and how to continue to have a revenue stream because, it's like anything else. If you can't pay for it, you can't provide it. You can't do it. So it's a business. And in order to generate some revenue, you have to have advertising. And, in a way, like you said, Todd, if you put your product on and you have the same advertising space that you have in your print product, but you put it online, now you've cut your distribution cost probably by 90% because the cost to put it online is maybe 10% of what it costs to print the product. So people have to figure that out. Like you say, you can still put some of it behind a paywall, and your premium content, but you have to put a little out there. And we use it for a funnel. We use electronic for a funnel everything back to our website and our newspaper, which does have paid advertising.
Yeah, the average person probably wouldn't realize how much it costs to have a newspaper printed.
It's incredible. I mean, just really tens of thousands of dollars, and I'm talking much more than that, really. I mean, for even larger papers, but it's very expensive. And then postage is very, very expensive. It just keeps going up. You know how a first-class stamp has gone up, which is, over 50 cents now. And the cost to mail a newspaper, which they call a flat in the business, is or a periodical, has gone up exponentially as well.
Well, we were talking before we came on the show, and, back in the day, you got your sports news, you couldn't go on the internet and find last night's scores, so you'd grab the Paducah Sun the next morning, and you'd grab the Kentucky New Era the next morning, and you'd go through those, and that's how you found out what happened the night before.
Right.
But now with the internet, you can just jump on the internet and...
If you can find it, it's so spread out. It's like an Easter egg hunt in June. Sometimes we were talking before we came on air about the Tillman Mayfield game last week, trying to find some intel on that was difficult.
Yeah, Twitter was absent a lot of information that you just expect to see there, especially for that type of game. I mean, that's probably the biggest game in Western Kentucky,
no question.
And it was difficult to find a score, but. Just interesting how things have changed. Like I said, you go back a long way, and I've been here a long time too, and it's just weird how things have changed. And I know at one point I could go to a ball game on a Saturday night or whatever, and when the ball game was over, I was done because I could wait until Monday or Tuesday to work that information up.
Yeah.
Well, not now.
It's instantaneous. That's right, or somebody else will beat you to the punch, won't they?
Well, and. Sometimes the competition's not other media. That used to be the competition.
It's moms and pops.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's sort of their own media. With social media out there, anybody can post something to Facebook or Twitter or whatever. So, if you're the traditional media guy, you've really got to get on your stuff, or everybody else is going to beat you.
What I'm seeing now are teams are creating their own sports information type director, if you will. They are putting out their own video. It's you control your message.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are in underserved or unserved areas as far as mainstream media goes. So kudos to them for capturing the opportunity and promoting their kids, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what we've always done. We've just been promoters of kids. Yeah. And that's what I always said about Joey Fosco. God rest his soul, one of the greatest guys that ever came to West Kentucky sports, and people just loved him. I almost get emotional talking about him, one of my best friends. But Joey felt like every kid in West Kentucky sports was his.
Yeah.
I mean, those were his kids, and he talked about them away from the sports desk, and he knew them intimately and their families, and he didn't just write about youth sports. He got to know them.
Yeah.
And he loved, and we're the same way. I feel like kids who I've covered over the years, I know them, very well.
It's always amazed me how quickly a kid can go from being hey, keep an eye on this kid, in junior pro or middle school, till the next day he's graduating and he's playing in college someplace. And it's
Gage Courtney is a perfect example of that, Crittenden's football coach. I'll never forget the first day they would, back then, someone from the Little League program would always bring me in a little and have the statistics and everything from each game. They've kind of fallen off that, and I don't have it in the paper as much anymore, but back then they did. And they brought in, and it said Gage Courtney, and I thought, Gage, how do you spell that? Gaugage. And so I finally figured it out. And of course, he grew up kind of out towards Sturgis, on the northern end of town. So I really didn't know. His family kind of always worked over in that area. Didn't know them very well, but we got to know him pretty quick because in Little League he was pretty tough.
Yeah.
And he became a great high school player and played 4 years at Kentucky State too. Had a successful college career and a good football coach.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
We're talking with Chris Evans of the Crittenden Press. Again, Caldwell County hosting Crittenden County for football on Friday. The team's hooking up in volleyball action, the schools tonight in Marion. And, of course, earlier this week, girls soccer played to a 2-2 draw, Caldwell County and Crittenden County. So it's a busy Caldwell County, Crittenden County week on the sports schedule. We need to get to another break here on the show. Back with more here on the Sideline Report after this on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Community Medical Clinic in Princeton is accepting new patients of all ages. They accept all insurances. If you're uninsured, they offer a sliding scale program and self-pay options.
From the Weather Edge Weather Center, sunshine today with a high 82 degrees. Mostly clear skies tonight. Overnight low 58. More sunshine on Friday. Slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm moving in late in the day. Tomorrow's high temperature up to 85. 70% chance of shower or thunderstorms on Saturday. Once again, our forecast today, sunny skies with a high near 82.
At Trice Hughes, they're ordering it your way. How would you like to have a vehicle built just for you? Little things are important, like rich colors, big screens and displays, almost like watching TV. Exteriors with beautiful style and powerful engines that respond to the lightest touch on the accelerator. It's time to get what you want. Order your new ride and feel the thrill when you drive off the lot. Trice Hughes in Princeton is the one-stop shop for everything your vehicle needs. For more information, visit tricehughes.com. That's tricehughes.com.
We provided shelter for 8,768 guests free of charge in 2021. We wrote 869 rent checks to help house families and individuals in their own homes last year. We have sheltered numerous individuals during cold weather. We wrote 1,012 checks to assist households with their utility bills in 2021. We are the Hopkinsville Salvation Army.
You can become part of the We. Search Salvation Army Hopkinsville on Facebook as we continue to help families in Christian, Todd, and Trigg counties.
This is the Sideline Report on 1580 103.3 WPKY. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Chris Evans of the Crittenden Press is with us this week and having good conversation, and we're going to get into some history stuff now with the football team. But first, I want to do a little more work from the Tiger football game against Hopkinsville last week. The Athletic Center play of the game last week went to Jameis Carnahan. The Big Boys Barber Shop Quick Cut also went to Jameis. The Coleman Auto Parts Catch of the Game went to Xavier Bumpus. And, of course, Caden Alfred, the C3 Electric Lineman Award for the Hopkinsville game last week. And congratulations to all those award winners. And, Chris, as we were mentioning, we got a lot of awards we hand out, and just kind of a way to kind of recognize players that maybe sometimes don't get recognized.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about. That's what high school sports is all about, is highlighting these kids and letting them learn a lot of life's lessons through sports, and they learn a great deal.
Yeah. Big football game coming up this week between Caldwell County and Crittenden County at Tiger Stadium. But I think the last time you were on the show, we talked about this some, and that football rivalry between Princeton and Marion goes way, way back before even Caldwell County and Crittenden County.
Oh, yeah, back before the Depression.
Yeah.
Goes back into the roaring 20s. It's Marion and Princeton and Madisonville and Henderson and Paducah and Murray. I don't know if I'm leaving any out. We're kind of the first football programs in West Kentucky. Marion High School was one of the very first. Big games were against Madisonville and Henderson, and play. In fact, Crittenden beat Murray in a regional championship in 1963. believe 1963, beat Murray in a regional championship to go to the sub-state and lost to Shelbyville. But the Murray game ended in a tie.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was 7-7 or 14-14. But back then, the way at the end of regulation, there was no tiebreaker other than you went by first downs.
Okay.
Whoever had the most first downs. So I don't know if each side had their own scorekeeper or whether they had one, the home team's official scorekeeper or what, but they won by one first down.
I think for playoff games back then, there was actually an official scorekeeper just for that
reason.
Situation. Yeah. So, that's pretty interesting. I've traced Caldwell County football all the way back to Princeton High School in 1911.
1911.
Now, I know some of the Louisville schools were playing, in the decade before that, and I'm not sure when Paducah got started, but it was probably around that time too. But, Princeton High School goes back to at least 1911. It's tough to tell because there's an old football photo, a team picture that gets passed around of the first Princeton High School football team.
Mm-hmm.
But on one person's copy, it will say the 1909 Tigers. Somebody else's says the 1912 Tigers. Somebody else's says the 1910. But I think it's actually the 11. I think it's the 11 team.
It's the same photograph.
Yeah, it's the same photograph.
Yeah.
So I think the label was probably placed on it a lot later, and people were just kind of guesstimating that, I think I remember I was told. So
put that little C in front of it, circa.
It's difficult to know exactly when, but all the research I did, and I know Sam Steger, the former county historian, did some too, and I think we kind of agreed that 1911 was the first team.
Yeah, I think that's about when Marion started. Like in Princeton, the information back then is pretty spotty. Even the newspaper, which covered almost everything back then, would have maybe just a paragraph on the front page. That's where they would put the game, and it would never be much. One year you would look, and there would be something about a game. Well, the next year it wouldn't have anything. You're thinking, well, what happened to the team? But then the next year they would have it. So it's difficult to go back and trace that stuff. But I think 1921 was the first game you said between Marion and Princeton. And
the first game I could find that was Princeton-Marion was 1921.
And then Crittenden County, of course, consolidated in 1957 with Marion High School, and that was the first year that Caldwell County and Crittenden County played. And I think since then Crittenden has won 10 of 54 games. I think 10 of 54, and lost the last 12. So it's been pretty lopsided.
But if you go back to the Marion-Princeton games and include Princeton and Princeton-Butler,
right.
Marion actually held a little advantage on that one.
Right, and that's what I say. Marion High School was really a powerhouse back in the day. You can go back and read a lot of the articles from particularly the 1940s. They had some great teams. They had one team called the Phenomenal 13. There were only 13 kids on the team, and they were undefeated. It was incredible. And again, they played teams like Paducah and Madisonville and Henderson.
Well, and you went both ways back then. If a sub came in for you, you were done. You didn't get to sub in and out. It just you either played both ways or you weren't in the game anymore.
And they played the old single wing, and it was a different game. But boy, I would love to go back and watch one of those, wouldn't you?
Well, and Clay and Dawson and Providence all had teams back in the day, and that's because if you had 15 players, you could field a football team.
Right.
So I got one interesting note from the 1923 matchup. Princeton won 7-6 in Princeton. The Lone Tiger touchdown came on an interception return, and the extra point was scored on a drop kick by J.O. Harden.
A drop kick.
A drop kick. So the extra point was a drop kick back then. My understanding is the football back in the early days of the game was more round than it is now.
Right.
So it was a little easier to drop kick.
More like a rugby ball or
it was,
something. Yeah.
So it's probably a little different game back then, but just interesting that the winning point was on a drop kick. But, the first matchup I found was 21, and Marion won that game 12-0, and I never could find any other information other than just the final score. The Thanksgiving Day meetings began in 1926, and for almost 30 years, the big game on the schedule was that Princeton-Marion Thanksgiving Day game.
Oh, yeah, and I think that was maybe the last game of the season. Back then football started later. Now we've got to where we started in the middle of the summer,
Well, and there were no playoffs back then.
Right, no playoffs, and it would just start a little later, and that was the culmination of the season, and you played. It was like a bowl game, and people would come out in their Sunday best and ties and hats, and they would have dinner before the game, and it was just a big event.
Yeah. But it was usually an afternoon game, and both bands would show up and play, and sometimes they might even have a parade, and it was just a really big deal.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the first lighted game was played in West
that
Kentucky.
I don't know.
I would say, I would venture to say it was probably in the 50s at some point, maybe earlier than that, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I'm guessing most of those are probably a 1 or 2 o'clock start, probably for those games at that time of year, and that was the big deal. You had Thanksgiving dinner and then went to the football game.
I like an afternoon game. Coaches don't because they feel like it gets their team out of rhythm. It's something different. But I'd love to see some more Saturday game. But I will say one of Crittenden's worst season was 2-8. I think it was 1993 maybe, or 94. It's somewhere in that era. But the lights, a windstorm came through, and you may remember that, and blew the lights down. Took the stadium seats and tossed them the lights and everything, just tumbled them onto the field. So we didn't have lights that whole season. We had to play our home games on Saturday afternoon. And it was Al Starnes' second or third year, I think, there, and we were 2-8, and he talked about the doggone win for many, many years. Probably still does.
Speaking of Marion High School, where did the nickname Blue Terrors come from?
Gosh, I know that.
Because Tigers for Caldwell County and for Princeton, that came from a game at Madisonville in that 1911 season. We think Madisonville had been playing a few years and was expected to win the game pretty handily, and I think it was 6-0. And officials from Madisonville actually wrote a letter to Caldwell County, to the Princeton High School, and said, you should be proud of your guys. They fought like Tigers.
And that's where it came from.
And, we were always the Tigers after that, so...
we've had something in the past. Our historian over there has written about that. For some reason, it's escaping me where the terrors comes from. But I do know when the two schools consolidated, it was a big question of what the nickname would be. So apparently, they took the city school, Marion, said, well, we'll keep the colors and you pick a new nickname. And that's where the Rockets came from. And it was kind of during the Cold War type era, and missiles and rockets were big things, and that's where that came from.
But you and your family, so that you can enjoy all the moments to come.
This is Josh Ray, your local Woodman Life agent. Come see us at 1009 West Main Street or give us a call at 365-6111.
Certain eligibility and age restrictions apply. Woodman of the World Life Insurance Society, Omaha, Nebraska.
From the Weather Edge Weather Center, sunshine today with a high 82 degrees. Mostly clear skies tonight, low down to 58. More sunshine on Friday. Slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm late in the day with a high near 85 degrees. Chance of showers, thunderstorms in the forecast for Saturday with a high 78. Let's get our forecast today. Mostly sunny skies with a high near 82.
Hello, this is Walker Thomas, your state representative working to represent Christian, Trigg, and Caldwell counties. As I seek re-election on November 8th, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone. This weekend I will be out meeting constituents in Trigg and Caldwell counties. I'll be at the Black Patch Parade and at the festival. Please visit me at the Republican booth with only a break to run to Katie's Park for the Trigg County meet and greet from 11 to 2. I look forward to seeing you this weekend. I never thought I would have to vote on an issue to keep boys from competing in women's sports. This is Walker Thomas, your conservative state representative. While in Frankfort, I have supported the Fairness in Women's Sports Act. I believe it is essential to protect women's athletics, and students should participate in activities designated for their biological gender. This is Walker Thomas asking for your vote on May 17th as I continue your fight for common sense measures.
Paid for by Walker Thomas for State Representative.
Thanks for tuning in to the Sideline Report here on WPKY. Chris Evans of the Crittenden Press in the studio with us this morning, and appreciate him coming by, making the trip up from Fredonia today to be with us on the show. And Chris, we talked a lot of sports, but can move to another one now. You're actually the new softball head coach at Crittenden County.
Yeah. Like I need something else to do, right, Todd? No, of course, I've been coaching a long time at various levels, and just left the baseball program after about 6 years with the baseball team. And Stephen Smith, who had been the softball coach for quite a while, resigned. Just kind of surprisingly, resigned after the end of the season, and we went the summer without a coach, and finally, just after some soul searching, I decided to go to apply for it, and I was fortunate that I guess that they will allow me to coach the softball team. I love my daughter plays. She'll be a freshman on the team this year, so I would have been there anyway, and probably helping out to some degree with the program. But we're going to try to kick things up a notch for Lady Rocket softball. We're going to move fields. In years past, the games were played in that lower field. It was an old men's softball field. Is what that was.
I remember the old big fence.
The big
in left
fence
field.
out there. It was about 20 foot high because it was a short fence out there, and you kind of keep you from hitting them over. But we're going to move. That field has always had drainage problems. It's the outfield. The outfielder's feet are about a foot and a half lower than home plate. The pitcher's rubber was 7 inches lower than home plate. That field went. Yeah, it was just, and there's no way to fix that. We don't have the money to fix that. So we're going to move to that middle field up there by the high school baseball field, and we're going to sink some money into that. We thought we were going to get a new football field, a new track, and a new softball field at this new high school that was proposed, and with the inflation as it is, the prices came in too high, so all that's on the back burner. I think they're not even going to do all that now. They're just going to build a middle school.
Okay.
So we're going to keep Rocket Stadium, and we're not getting a new softball field at the school. So we're putting some money into the one there, and we're going to dress it up. We host the district this year, so that's kind of the impetus to some degree to do this. But I think people will be surprised when they get out there and see our softball field next year. We're trying to create some excitement and pride in the program.
Well, and you've spent some time with the baseball program too.
Right, yeah. We had a pretty successful run, really one of the greatest, the winningest team in school history a couple of years ago. In fact, we played Caldwell County over here in the finals, the All-A Classic, and it started out at Dawson Springs, and the lights went out. I don't know if you remember that game.
Yeah, first time I've ever seen a game just pick up and move to another park.
I was a little hesitant to come over to the jaw of the tiger when you're playing them, and sure enough, when we got over here, I look over on Caldwell's side, and there's Shane Whittington and everybody else, and they're up on the fence and screaming. And I said, we could be in trouble. Of course, it was about the fifth inning. We were up by a considerable amount, and it took us a little while to settle down and adjust to the new environment. But I love baseball. I've always been a baseball guy. Grew up playing baseball and played baseball at Henry County High School in Paris, Tennessee.
Yeah,
and had dreams of playing farther, but I was no good. I had a nickname. Actually, my nickname in high school was E6.
Oh,
so you know what that means if you're a baseball guy. And so then I kind of got into coaching early on and coached youth leagues for many years, and then to travel ball and the high school team, and now so I'm over in softball. And softball's a little bit different animal. It's a speed game. It's quicker. You have to coach it just a little bit different, but I'm looking forward to the challenge of switching over there. Coached a little travel ball at one time.
Yeah.
I tell you, we've got a good relationship to a lot of softball players over in Caldwell County that my daughter plays on a travel team, that Robbie Thompson is one of the coaches, and his daughter Riley is a really good player on that team. And Harper Homeland is our slugger.
Yeah.
Harper Homeland is going to be a special softball player. She is a special softball player, but she's got a bright future in the game.
Well, congratulations on the softball job, and I appreciate you coming over this morning. I wish we had a few more minutes. I've got more notes, but we're about out of time.
Well, time flies, doesn't it?
Does.
It's unbelievable when you're having fun, yeah.
But, I appreciate it, and big Caldwell County, Crittenden County week, and like I said, maybe in the future we can do that on purpose, you know.
I like it. It's kind of like now we've gone to putting all the district spring sports, softball and baseball, on the same day.
Yeah.
At the same venue. And that I like that.
Yeah.
It just adds something to it.
Well, thanks for coming in and being on the show. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Todd.
That's Chris Evans of the Crittenden Press. Again, big Caldwell Crittenden week. Tonight, volleyball action down in Marion between the Lady Tigers and the Lady Rockets, and football action out here at Tiger Stadium on Friday night, 7 o'clock, Tigers and Rockets. Don't forget about the Black Patch Parade. That's tomorrow at 5 o'clock downtown. Also, the Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast will be going on Saturday morning from 7 to 10 at Ogden Methodist Church. Adults $6, children $4. Check that out. And, of course, be sure and listen to Saturday Morning Quarterback at 9 o'clock Saturday morning from the Biscuit Barn and Ice Cream Eatery, which is just across the street here on West Main Street from the WPKY studios. That's going to wrap us up for this Thursday morning on the Sideline Report. Again, thanks to Chris Evans for coming in and being with us this morning. This is Todd Griffin of WPKY Radio and YourSportsEdge.com. You've been listening to the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
WPKY, Princeton. Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. Queen Elizabeth's health causing concerns as Buckingham Palace announces the 96-year-old is under medical supervision.
We got the word from the royal household that they are concerned about her health. Those are new words which we've never heard about Queen Elizabeth.